All right, guys, quick video here. Good morning. Hopefully, you guys are recovering well from the Game Awards last night. I want to talk about Hogwarts Legacy a little bit, kind of go through the motions, right, of it not being there, but also talk about really briefly, too, the two new teams that are helping the game, right? Sumo Digital announced yesterday before the Game Awards, perfect timing, even though it ended up not being perfect, that two of their teams are basically support studios for Hogwarts Legacy. So that makes three in all, right? There's three support studios that we know of, at least, helping Hogwarts Legacy. So that's, you can look at it as positive or negative. I'll talk about that in a second, but that is news, right? That's arguably very big news. And then you had it not being at the Game Awards. Now, obviously, you can say a lot about that. I'm disappointed. I think like a lot of people, it's not Jeff Keighley's fault. I don't think it's the Game Awards' fault. I mean, they can only do so much. And then, the rest of it is just playing the blame game and pointing fingers. I mean, we've talked about it before. You got to watch your expectations. I mean, I definitely did my part of getting myself excited. I told you guys, try to, keep, you do you, right? You keep your expectations where you want to keep them. I have no problem with that. And I do like to throw these in with all of these videos, right? Because I think I am different from a lot of people that will tell you, I think it's okay to feel hurt, to feel upset, to feel disappointed. There's a lot of people that would say, well, you did it to yourself, or they didn't promise you anything, or, what I think, we're all human. And like, if you wanted the game to be there and it's not, and you're disappointed, like, I get that. You know what I mean? I don't think, there's not many people, I think, vocally that do that. I don't know what even other Hogwarts Legacy, YouTubers think of that, but I get it. I mean, I'm disappointed too. Then you get a little bit more deep into it, right? There is a more depth to it where, then again, who do you start blaming? What is actually going on? Because the thing is, with limited knowledge, it's hard to blame people. It's hard to point fingers, right? Obviously, Millie A comes to mind. A lot of people on my live stream last night were talking about her. And look, from everything I've seen of her, she's a good person. And I don't want any harassment or threats or anything bad to happen to her. But yeah, I think there should be maybe an explanation from her if maybe she lied about the first one, or maybe she got faulty information. Because remember, she was a big proponent in setting up the possibility that, Hogwarts was going to do something, including going so far to say basically, hey, the trailer's ready. They're just worried about showing it. But then there's like that next level, right? So do you get disappointed at Millie A? Do you unfollow her on Twitter? Whatever you want to do. Like, is that what you do? Or was she telling the truth? Was she telling the truth? And is there problems with, their confidence in this game? Now, if that's true, then they're cowards. And, I've talked about it before. I have great respect for the people that work there, at least right now, except for, well, one or two people. But, overall, like, I'm really, I'm rooting for them. I think all of us are rooting for them, right? Because we want a good game. But if they're worried about these, crybaby gaming journalists writing articles about them, they need to get over it. And it may not even be the studio, right? It could be the higher-ups at WB. In fact, that does sound like what it is, right? They need to get over it because it's going to happen no matter what. You're just making us more mad. You know what I mean? Because, like, if it's true, you have a trailer, but you're trying to appeal to these losers that hate you, that won't buy your game, and you're appealing to them by not showing it, you're making your fans mad and upset. Does that sound like right? Like how you should be? No. And it's what Twitter has basically done. Now, I've talked about that a lot in the past videos. I don't want to get too far into it, but you have all that, right? Again, you do you. I don't want harassment. I don't want threats to any of these people. And if you do it, I told you not to, and that's on you. You know what I mean? I just want to I hate saying things like that, and it sounds stupid and lame, but you kind of have to in the world that we live in. Now, one final thing is another complexity level is those support teams. So one thing that I've been very vocal on is I'm not, or at least I wasn't, maybe I still, am not, I wasn't worried about them announcing, because again, like right now, we know there's 3 teams helping them, okay? And maybe you see that story and you say, oh God, should I be worried? Like, is that a bad thing? My response was no, it's not a bad thing. You look at a game like The Last of Us Part 2, huge. Now, some people hated it, some people liked it, but no matter where you stood on it, the scope of The Last of Us was gigantic, right? We can all agree on that. It was a very expensive game, took a lot of manpower to build that game. Naughty Dog did not do that alone. In fact, there were over, I believe, 2,000 people that worked on The Last of Us Part 2. Naughty Dog is not even, I think, 500 strong, right? So they literally contributed, now maybe they were the driving force, but in terms of numbers, they were like a fourth of the overall people that worked on The Last of Us Part 2. So the point there is that big games, or games big in scope, need help. There's a lot of games, guys, that have support. Look at the end credits, right, of any major game. You are going to find people on there that are not part of that main studio, like 343 for Halo. Not, the people that made Halo, there's more than just the people at 343. Okay, that's how it works. But you can have the conspiracies where it's like, well, is there an issue there where they need to bring in people to kind of help it out? I still don't believe that because I just don't think, that's the case. But obviously, the longer the game stays in limbo, the more you're going to worry people that there is a major problem. You've gone so long and, you needed help and something's wrong. Again, I don't personally believe that, but I've always been one to tell you to make up your own mind. Don't just go based off me. So I'm telling you to do that again, right? If you think it's a bad thing, you think it's a bad thing, I'm not going to stop you. It sucks. At the end of the day, the entire situation sucks. You could argue, and somebody even asked me this, right? Like, could you argue that they announced it too early? Yeah. The longer it goes, and if we go into January, February, March, the longer it goes, like a year, we're already 15 months strong that they haven't shown a single thing since that first trailer. So you could very well start to build an argument over the next, I'd say, 3 months, next quarter, that they announced the game way too early. It's normal for some games, I guess, to take long periods and stay in the dark, right? There's been a lot of games that have done that. Even if you look at Telltale with The Wolf Among Us 2, they announced that game 2 years ago. We have not seen it since. So it's been 2 years. Now, again, though, I would start to get, I don't know if I would actually get worried, but I'm actually kind of. So, it depends on you. It depends on you. But it also is something where, if you're gone for more than a year, I would say, if you announce a big game or a game that people care about and you're gone for more than 12 months, you are starting to run into problems. It's like you got to get back out there, even if it's just to give us a gameplay trailer for Hogwarts and then leave. Again, if they want to show us the gameplay trailer and then leave for 6 more months, fine. But just to kind of come back out there and make people less afraid because, I'll keep saying it. People are into this game, and this game isn't a normal game. Do you know what I mean? It's not. It's a big franchise. It's a big game. And also you have the media attacking it. So when the game does go dark for so long, there's that extra worry on top of it because there's a hit. There's a contract out on this game's head. And you don't normally have that, for most games that release. So I get it. At the end of the day, I just want to make sure I state I understand if you're disappointed. And if you're saying, Alex, you did this to yourself, and I guess you kind of missed the point, of the video. You've missed what I've been saying for like 2 years now on the channel, and that's okay. There's always going to be people like that, but I get it if you're disappointed. If you want to say you did it to yourself, I do agree there is some sense of, and there is aspects that we do it to ourselves or we put trust in the wrong people. I understand that, but there is also an element of worry about this game that I think is valid, and I think them being gone for so, like you can blame me or whoever, or Millie A. You can do that, but there's more to it than just it's deeper, and that's what I said in this video, and that would show me that people didn't watch it all the way through, right? So let me know, guys, what you think. There is light at the end of the tunnel. I truly do believe that. Let me know what you think. Make sure you guys are subscribed, bell icon turned on, and I'll talk to you all on the next video.